My name is Andrew Shankman. I'm a professor of history at Rutgers University-Camden, and I specialize in the American Revolutionary period and the early national period. I just finished writing the book Original Intents, Hamilton, Jefferson, Madison, and the American Founding, which is about the cooperation and then increasingly the conflict between Alexander Hamilton on the one side and James Madison and Thomas Jefferson on the other about the meaning of the Constitution and the uses to which the Constitution should be put in governing the nation in the first decade after the Constitution was ratified. The idea that there is an original intent that we can recover is largely a fiction. And I wanted to suggest that, in fact, the founding generation, if there's anything that we can take from them, it's that they had actually a much more expansive and thoughtful conception of how to use the Constitution, and it was freighted in actually arguing about and deliberating about its meaning. What Original Intents does insist that to start to understand these people, we have to really place them in their 18th century context and really understand that they are, in fact, having 18th century debates with 18th century assumptions that don't have a direct application to the world that we live in today. When they say things in 1787, they have a great deal of meaning in 1787. Those same words would not mean the same thing today. But we can't stop there because obviously they have a powerful impact on the world we live in today. We still do live, although under greatly amended form, the Constitution they created. We still do look to them in many ways and use their statements, often misuse their statements, to justify the things we want to do. And we feel a need still to insist that whatever course we want to take, that the founders would have supported us. They have a tremendous cultural impact. And so one of the things I wanted to do with the book is first of all understand sort of where they're coming from and what they're really thinking and mean, what they're talking about. I try to convey by the end of the book that the answers they came up with to their very 18th century problems really can't be our answers. We have very different kinds of problems, and we have a very different kind of society. We even have a fundamentally different way of thinking about who citizens are, how they should relate to each other. But the questions that they were asking, questions about how the government relates to the governed, questions about the relationship between wealth and power and Republican society, between public obligations and private rights, those are still clearly very much the questions that we're preoccupied with. And so we can think about the fact that they took those questions so seriously and try to live up to that legacy.